Shabbat Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Wakar Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, preaching His word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. I say shalom to you, Akim out there, Shabbat Shalom. And this is a news update in regards to second war was passed, behold, third war coming quickly. And what's that's reference to Revelations 11 and 14. Second war was passed, third war coming quickly. And wars and rumors of wars, which can be in the book of Matthew 24 through verse 7. In the Holy Scriptures, reference to this news article that I'm about to bring out. Because these wars and rumors of wars are definitely increasing. And these nations rising up against nations and kingdom against kingdoms as well too. I will prepare for a reference to those scriptures of this news article. And this is a news article from nsnnews.com and from Newsweek, published by Zoe Strosky yesterday at 9:33 a.m. And a highlight of this news article, and it reads from Newsweek, and it says, Russia sends jets with hypersonic missiles to NATO borders for a 24/7 duty. And it says, Russia has reportedly sent 3 planes with hypersonic missiles to exclave between the 2 NATO members for around-the-clock combat and amid fears of war between the alliance and President Vladimir Putin's army. And this is like a day or two after Slovakia. After Vladimir Putin made that statement, he was at some type of meeting or a speech or some type of event, I believe, or some type of ceremony. Day before yesterday, he made that announcement that he welcomes the continuing allegiance and allies of Latin America and Africa, parts of Africa countries as well too. Of the nations, he allies with in regards to he's open arms and welcome his allies of Latin America and parts of Africa as well too, to send them modern day weaponry and stuff like that. So that goes to show you more increase of signs of these wars or rumors of wars are definitely heating up on an everyday basis, And let's see right here. Continuing on with the reading. It says Russian Defense Ministry said Thursday that the MiG-31 aircraft is now based at the Shaklsov, if I pronounced that right, airfield in the Kaliningrad region as a part of the implementation of additional strategic deterrence measures. Russian station-owned news agency RIA Novosti reported. That means the planes equipped with Kenzahaya, if I pronounced that right, hypersonic missiles are now close to the NATO borders. The Kaliningrad, which does not share any borders with Russia, but it is still part of its territory. It's sandwiched between NATO countries of Poland and Lithuania. And it says Putin hasn't publicly voiced plans to attack NATO, but he has warned that any country that creates a strategic threat to Russia during the ongoing Russian and Ukraine war can expect retaliation, which is most likely the case because you still got the United States continuing funding Ukraine. I believe they might going to send extra additional 800 million in military aid, and they get aid from the backed allies in NATO as well too. So then you got potential wars is getting close to being pushed into Moldova and Romania. You know, so these so that lets you know the tensions, you know, is building up, and then you're gonna see more tensions build up between Russia and the United States, and against Russia and NATO allies as well of Ukraine. You know, so those tensions gonna spark. You know, and I'm gonna read it again. It says. It says Russian state television and the Russian. I'm gonna read it again from all the way from the top for edification's sake of this video lesson. It says Putin hasn't publicly voiced plans to attack NATO, but he has warned. Right, and this is previously he made that statement. It says, but he has warned that any country that creates a strategic threat to Russia during the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war can expect a retaliation strikes. Russian state television and the Russian president allies have repeatedly pushed for a confrontation with NATO and even nuclear strikes against the alliance, increasing concerns of a nuclear war that scientists predict could kill billions. And it says, according to the Nuclear Threat Initiative, Washington, D.C. based nonprofit Wilkinson hypersonic missiles are with the MiG-31s and the Kyber and nuclear capabilities in air launch. In 2018, Russia reportedly sent the Icana missiles, which are capable of carrying nuclear warheads, to the Kaliningrad, with Russia ramping up its presence nuclear capability weapons in Nicaragua. NATO has been working to bolster and protect its eastern flank. Last week, the U.S. mission to NATO announced that soldiers from a U.S. air assault division that arrived in Europe in late July were being sent to NATO members of Romania, Bulgaria, Hungary, and Slovakia to reassure our allies. And right, because you got the two brand new allies that's coming in, a part of NATO as well too, is Sweden and Finland. Well, from reports that I'm hearing that I was watching the news, it was saying that in order to like Finland and Sweden to like fully get into the NATO membership, they have to be more allies of NATO to approve and sign documentation and approve of Sweden and Finland to be part of NATO, you know. So as the NATO alliance increased now more than ever. It says this month NATO has announced that its several planes and fire jets were patrolling around the clock to protect the airspace of member countries. The alliance shares a video of Twitter that explained it was working to protect the skies of its allies in Eastern Europe. You know, that goes in like couple months ago with the deployment of more troops. I believe it was like about a couple of months ago that Joe Biden sent an additional about 1,000 to 2,000 troops over there in Eastern Europe. So they'd be on standby just in case of Ukraine need extra help with the ongoing war in Ukraine, the Russia-Ukraine situation though. and it says that they that explain it was working to protect the skies of its allies in Eastern Europe, with more jets flying from airbase to aircraft carriers across the alliance, and by bringing in additional deterrence and defense capabilities. The video said that the video says that NATO was supplying consistent defense presence and monitoring the airspace over Bulgaria, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, Romania, and all of which are near the NATO's eastern flank, near Russia. Estonia and Latvia share borders with Russia. So yeah, after reading that whole article right there, Russia is going to send more jets with hypersonic missiles capability near to the NATO border for a 24/7 duty. As you see the increased tensions between Russia-Ukraine war, and there was another news article I was reading from RT.com, and that's another possible of a war, rumor of war. They were saying that I don't know if he was a minister of a representation of Ukraine or whatever, or an ally, probably, potentially. He was saying that the United States, even though they've been saying this for a couple of months now, since the invasion of the Russia-Ukraine thing, since February, as we're entering August now of the war continuing, he was mentioning something like that the United States is gonna increasingly potentially get into the war, get involved with the war in Ukraine. As I mentioned, the countries of Moldova and Russia, because the war is definitely getting closer to Moldova from what I'm hearing, So they might get involved in it as well too. Those other European countries, especially NATO, they might get involved with it as well too. So that shows you more signs of this wars and rumors of wars are definitely heating up. Definitely being heating up by almost every day, So it's gonna intensify and increase more and more. It might be times it might slow down a little bit, but it's gonna rise right back up and intensify and increase. And that's what we've been seeing. It's been increasing for the last couple of it's been increasing for the last couple of days, and it's going to increase more and more, because these rumors of wars and these nations rising up against nations and kingdom against kingdoms, they just definitely just been heating up, especially throughout the whole year 2022, because the beloved Elder Apostle Tahar made that statement, this is the year of 2022 of Yahweh Shem Al Shai is turning up the heat on things. And once the beloved Elder Apostle Tahar made that statement, and that's what's been happening, and that's what's been going on, and we live in prophecies are definitely showing itself, when we're seeing these things right before our eyes, and many other different things that's related to prophecies, which I'm not going to get into, but my main focus on this Russia-Ukraine thing, as, Russia sends jets with hypersonic missiles capability to near the area of near the border of what NATO allies is stationed at for 24/7 duty, just in case, potentially if NATO allies come under threat, Russia have their, what is I'm talking about? I believe allies, allies of Russia or Vladimir Putin's army, if they be under threat by NATO, that's why he sent those missiles, more jets and missiles capability over there, just in case, so it could be 24/7 duty. Because and coming to reports as I was reading through the news article, they kind of fear of a potential Russian's army and its allies might be going against Russia of NATO.
It's like we next. It's like a tunnel.
Salakia. What I meant to say, kind of slip of the tongue, what I meant to say was the reason why Vladimir Putin issued jets over there with warplane capability over there in near the NATO area, just in case if Russian soldiers or allies with Russia and Vladimir Putin, if they come under attack, they have more military protection insurance for the Russian soldiers of Vladimir Putin and allies of Russia and Vladimir Putin as well too, if they come under attack by the NATO, by the NATO group, which is allies with Ukraine, And then they said they was kind of fear of a potential of an attack on the Russian soldiers by the NATO allies of Ukraine. So, and as I was reading the news article, as I was scrolling down a little bit more, reading the whole news article, even though Vladimir Putin haven't made an official announcement yet, if he was gonna attack NATO allies, but he said if his soldiers and his allies come under enemy threat by NATO, that's backed by Ukraine, because Ukraine is allies with NATO and the United States and Western countries as well too. And Vladimir Putin stated that if his army and his allies was come under attack by the United States and the NATO back allies of Ukraine, he'd do necessary measures to make nuclear strikes on them if they feel like they coming under enemy threat, with military force from NATO and Ukraine and the United States back allies as well too, So that goes to show you more signs of these wars and rumors of wars are, definitely heating up, and it's going to continue to increase, And I'm going to bring out a scripture. Matter of fact, I'm going to bring out two scriptures. I'm going to bring out first Mark 13:7, and then I'm going to bring out that Luke 21:9. And this is the book of Mark, chapter 13, verse 7. And when ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, be ye not troubled, for these things must need be, but the end shall not be yet. Right? Because these wars and rumors of wars are definitely coming to pass, because we're seeing it right before our eyes on an everyday basis, as it's starting to increase now more than ever, like I mentioned before, And this is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 9. This is the book of Luke, chapter 21, verse 9. But when ye shall hear of wars and commotions, be ye not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by. Right, because the reason why the end is not yet, because more prophecies needed to be fulfilled, and we're seeing these things are being fulfilled, coming to pass right before our eyes. Even though it's not going to happen like real quickly, but it's showing the process steps. It's getting the process steps even closer, of these prophecies coming to pass, because we still got the MOTB. Be right along with the Revelations 11 and 14 as well too, because all them is going to be close to the same time of prophecies coming to pass, you know. But the MOTB is definitely growing. But yeah, these MOTB was the digital currency, that Karagma, that's going to be coming to pass very soon as well too, because that's a huge major prophecy that's supposed to be coming to pass, and this definitely is as well too. So we got two huge important prophecies that need to come to pass. Revelations 11 and 14, second woe is past, behold, third woe coming quickly, you know, because we already know the second woe has passed already. Now we entering the stages of the third woe coming quickly. We're entering stages of that, which is that WW3, which is very imminent, you know, because we're seeing signs of it is getting close to that, you know. And yeah, so with that, I hope this lesson was edifying through the spirit, power, verse, and mercy of Yahweh Yahushua. And first and foremost, I'd like to give all praises and glory and honor to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem, Wakakadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, preaching this word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim, scattered through the four corners of the globe, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And shalom to the Akim that be like unto the speckled bird, preaching the word truthfully and sincerely. And until next time, I will say shalom, Shabbat, shalom on this Shabbat. And I will say, Abba, shalom.